Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes Overnight Feeds Recap for night number 15. And we're 2 weeks into this season. That is amazing. And tonight, we get the first eviction of the season. Yeah, we were supposed to have one last week, but it didn't happen. So tonight's the first night that people, the house guests, get to go in and cast their vote to send either Pooch or Taylor out the door. It's sure looking like it's going to be Pooch, but he's been doing what he can to fight for votes. We're going to talk all about that. Before we do, first of all, just as a reminder, tonight is normally a live episode. No, not tonight. CBS is going to make his wait. They're going to, I absolutely believe, have zero doubt that they're going to record everything just as regular tonight. The house guests won't know that it's not a live episode, but we as viewers won't actually get to see the eviction until next Sunday as part of this double 2-hour episode. Now, the good news is that Paramount Plus and Big Brother posted last night and said that even though the episode won't be live, the live feeds will be back later this evening. Yay! Glad to see that. Now, we don't know if we're going to get to see the HOH competition or if the feeds come back after the HOH competition is concluded. We'll find out later, but at least we get the feeds back. Here's the other thing. Tonight, Julie Chen is supposed to be explaining this new besties twist. I think tonight was supposed to be the night. She'll probably still do it, but we won't get to hear her explanation. We'll just see the house guests dealing with it when the live feeds come back. I don't know how hard it'll be to figure out. Heck, maybe they'll just all be chained together in duos and it'll be pretty obvious. Don't know, but looking forward to the live feeds later this evening. By the time they come back, we're going to be down to 14 house guests. All right, so with the recaps taking place. Now, normally, I thought this house had kind of decided who was going home, and it was Pooch. For a settled house, there sure was a lot of campaigning and arguing and upset people last night. So we're going to cover it all. It turned into kind of an eventful evening, especially for a few people. So we'll cover that. But let's start off our overnight recaps with the notification of a brand new alliance that has been formed. There's so many alliances in this house. I can't even keep track of them. It's amazing. Dozens of them, it seems like. Every configuration you can imagine. But we did have an alliance form by the name of the Old School. Yeah, the Old School formed up in the HOH room. It consists of Alyssa, Jasmine, Amira, Daniel, Nicole, and Terrence. So 3 men, 3 women, have formed the Old School. Whether it's going to last or not, I don't know. Maybe this has some legs. Who knows with these things? We'll find out in a few weeks. But we do have the Old School alliance that is pledging to work each other. Now, later, we have within that Old School alliance, we've got Jasmine, Alyssa, and Amira. The women are still up in the HOH room. And Amira declares that the girls alliance, the girls, the POPAC, the Paloma Posse, whatever they want to call it today, she's saying, that alliance is over because she doesn't really like or care for Brittany. She doesn't really like or care for Indy. And she says, with those 2 in the alliance, it's over. Really, that thing, it's not lasting. There you go. One alliance forms, another one dies. It's like Medusa. Every time you kill one off, you get a few more that form anyway. So the girls alliance is officially over, at least according to Amira. I'm not sure that all the rest of the members of that alliance have gotten the message just yet, such as Brittany. All right, as Pooch continues to work for votes, Pooch's getting a little desperate. At the start of the evening, he feels great. By the end of the evening, not so much. But as Pooch is continuing to work for these votes, he's pitching a new alliance to Brittany and Michael. Basically, he wants to bring them in and become associate members of the Oasis. I don't know. He tells the guys that he needs to get some of the free agents in on their side just to make sure that they've got the vote. So he's pitching to Brittany and Michael that, hey, come over with us, guys. We got you taken care of. Even if Pooch was to stick around tonight, Brittany and Michael aren't joining Oasis. They'll say, you don't say no when someone offers alliance, but they're not taking it seriously. This is just Pooch reaching a little bit at this point in time. It's not going to happen. All right, we've got a conversation between Daniel and Brittany. Seemed like a very harmless, innocuous conversation, people checking in with each other. But sometimes the most basic harmless thing blows up. Perception is reality in the Big Brother house. So Daniel and Brittany talking. Daniel is saying, look, I think that I'm going to have to vote Pooch out tomorrow night because it just seems like the house is leaning that way. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Brittany's agreeing. She says, yeah, I feel the same way, Daniel. I think we're in the same boat. But she's also saying that she's really worried that she may end up being on the wrong end of the vote. She's kind of falling out with the women. She doesn't necessarily know for certain what they're going to do. And yeah, she thinks she's going to vote Pooch out too, but she's worried that if she does, she'll end up on the wrong side of the boat. All right, basic, right? No big deal with that. Well, by the time it gets back to some of the ladies, everything has changed up a little bit. Before we talk about that, we did have a little conversation between Terrence and Taylor. I think it was in the kitchen. Basically, Terrence is telling Taylor that he's just discovered that there's a guys alliance in the house. And Taylor said, well, how'd you find that? Nah, I just overheard them. They were, I think, didn't realize I was there or something. So I just overheard. The key thing with this is that there's a lot of people in this house that are learning that there's a guys alliance. It's not a well-kept secret, no matter how much some people think it is. So now Terrence is aware. He's told Taylor. She's now aware. There's other people aware as well. All right, we've got Daniel talking to Alyssa. And he's saying that, remember that conversation he and Brittany had? He's saying, look, Brittany talked to me and said that maybe we could work with Pooch. That may be something that we could actually do. Yeah. Daniel's not real fond of Brittany already. He already has been on kind of a Brittany rant for the last day or so. So did he intentionally spin it a little bit, targeting Brittany? Yeah, probably so. But a little bit of confusion. But the way you said it, it really makes it sound like Brittany maybe is wanting to work with Pooch, such as keeping him on board, things like that. Alyssa hears that, and she immediately just wants to get out of there, wants to immediately go tell the women. So this isn't going to be a secret kept for long at all. But this later turns into the additional claim by Nicole. She hears that Brittany and Daniel talked, and by the time she's talking to Terrence and Jasmine, she's saying, yeah, Brittany wants an alliance with Daniel. She's out there trying to make all these extra alliances. Well, the ladies are going to hear about that Brittany wants to keep Pooch, that Brittany wants to form an alliance with Daniel. All hell's going to break loose. And it's not really true. But again, perception's reality. All right, we've got Pooch talking to Daniel and Nicole. He's feeling pretty comfortable in the start of the evening, as I mentioned. He's saying, look, unless the girls are lying to me, I got the votes to stay. Well, Pooch, sometimes people lie inside the Big Brother house, and you got a whole lot of people lying to you this particular evening. He's not nearly as safe as he thinks he is. All right, Alyssa had that little conversation with Daniel. She's gone right back, and she's told Nicole and Indy and Amira, says that Brittany is throwing us under the bus. She is trying to save Pooch. She's just screwing us over at this point. The women are furious. They want to approach her right that very second. They decide to hold off a little bit. Later, to add fuel to the fire, Nicole says that passes on that. Nicole tells Jasmine as well. But then Jasmine later is talking to Brittany. I think it's up in the HOH room. I can't remember this point, but Jasmine's talking to Brittany, let's call it threatening, telling Brittany, said, look, I'm going to be very upset if this vote changes tomorrow. Again, she thinks Brittany's getting ready to flip this thing. She's not. All right. So women are all upset at Brittany. They think she's forming side alliances. They think she's trying to flip the vote. Not a good time, a good situation for Brittany. And it all developed with just harmless conversation with Daniel. Amazing. All right. I was going to say soothe things down. Not really, because Brittany's completely unaware that this is going on. Brittany is leading a group meditation. That sounds better than group hypnosis, right? No, nothing wrong with hypnosis, I guess. But Brittany's leading a group meditation hypnotherapy session in the living room. Everyone is there. They're all laying there listening to Brittany's voice, walking them down the staircase and everything else. A perfect opportunity for a nap for some people who want to take advantage of the situation. And apparently at least one or two do, because we hear some pretty deep snoring. I think it came from Terrence. It had to come from Terrence. So yeah, Terrence got a little nap time in. I think Alyssa may have gotten just a little bit of napping in as well. It's pretty smart. Tell Big Brother you're doing a little hypnotherapy and close your eyes and drift off to somewhere else. But Brittany's doing that without any clue the things that are brewing beneath the surface. But later, back in the Jetsons room, Brittany can tell something is up with Amira. I think Michael's in there at one point. She asks how Amira's doing. Amira just won't say anything. Eventually, Michael leaves. Brittany approaches Amira again, says, look, can we just girl to girl? What's going on? Amira says at that point, look, I just don't know how much I can trust you, Brittany. I don't think I can trust you at all. Eventually, she references back initially to this whole Brittany spilling secrets to Pooch during week 1. Brittany's denying all of it, saying, no, Pooch put me up. Why would I trust him on anything? Well, Brittany did spill secrets to Pooch. She was trying to get on his good side in case he had to make some kind of choice for who got put up for eviction as part backstage twist. Old news at this point, but she brings that up again. Brittany once again denies it, but she also questions Brittany about these side alliances and is she really loyal to the girls? And Brittany saying, I'm with the girls 100%. Yeah, I talk to people, but that doesn't mean I'm forming alliances with them. I'm just trying to, why can't I talk to people? And she's swearing that she doesn't have any ulterior plans whatsoever. She's in tears and swearing that she never did any of this stuff. But again, we know she talked to Pooch, but the other things that she's being accused of didn't really happen. She really does want Pooch to go home. It seems like she wants to work with the girls. Now, yeah, she's got a bunch of little side deals here, but everyone does in the house at this time. But at one point, eventually she gets Amira to say that this came from Pooch. Brittany is blaming it all on Pooch, saying, look, this guy, I'm horrible. I want him gone so much. He's making up stuff about me. She's really having a bit of a meltdown. Acting or real? Maybe a little bit of both, but Brittany's not happy. Eventually, Alyssa and Indy come in, and Brittany again is saying, I'm sorry, but I'm with y'all. Please don't believe stuff Pooch is throwing out there. It's not true. And she says, sometimes I feel a little distance from y'all. I sometimes feel a little left out. I'm not really the kind that crawls into bed and cuddles and all that, but I'm with you. Please believe me. She's doing a good job of selling it. And the girls are acting very sympathetic at the time. But I don't know if they're actually buying it or not. They've already talked about the fact they think that maybe she's some kind of actress or something. So I don't know if they'll buy the tears as much as they seem to be right now. But we end up getting a little kumbaya session where they're all saying, we're all for the girls. And Amira's already said that the girls' alliance is gone, that she doesn't care for Brittany. So take it for what it's worth. But Brittany is swearing that she wants Pooch gone at this time. All right. Meanwhile, up in the have not room, we've got Daniel and Nicole talking. Nicole is saying, look, if I'm HOH, I'm putting up 2 pawns, but then I'm going to turn around. I'm going to backdoor Brittany. Nicole and Daniel, they just feed each other, ramp each other up, I think. And right now they're on the Brittany hate train. They're just pushing each other. And so she's ready to boot Brittany as soon as she gets the chance. She's not the only one. Brittany is in a little bit of a world of hurt next week. Too many people feel like they could get rid of her and things would be less chaotic. All right. Nicole is thinking or saying that she thinks Brittany betrayed all the girls and how horrible that is. They also are talking a little bit about this new femme fatale alliance that just formed last night, I think. And it's the 2 of them with the Amira, Jasmine, and Alyssa, I think. It's so hard to keep these in track, but I think that's a femme fatale. They're now talking about bringing Terrence into that femme fatale alliance. Is that the same thing as old school? I can't even keep track. They want to work a little tighter with Terrence. I'm saying I absolutely believe Terrence being in the have not room with Nicole and Daniel this week has worked well for them. They've had chances to talk. They felt more comfortable with them. Do I actually want him as a partner or just a vote? I don't know, but at least they're involving Terrence in some of their alliance conversations. All right, let's talk about the Pooch meltdown. Pooch is definitely having a meltdown. Alyssa asked him in the kitchen, said, hey, this guy's alliance, the Oasis, how dumb is that or whatever? The key is that she mentioned guy's alliance and she mentioned the name Oasis. So now Pooch knows that this isn't just guesswork on her part, that someone told her something if she actually knows the name of the guy's alliance. And so he also is realizing if Alyssa knows about the Oasis, then the rest of the women probably know as well. If the rest of the women think there's a guy's alliance, suddenly that means his game is very much more in jeopardy because the girls very well may vote him out if they think it's turning into a guys versus girls. So Pooch is seeing the writing on the wall suddenly as this is revealed. And now he's very nervous and he's going to respond to it. He goes to Daniel about it. Now, here's the thing. Daniel mentioned the Guys Alliance to Nicole. I don't know if he ever used the word Oasis or not, but he mentioned it to Nicole. But Pooch is saying, who said this? And he doesn't think Daniel has said anything. He trusts Daniel that it can't be him. And of course, Daniel's playing innocent. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Daniel's saying, Kyle, Joseph, maybe. I don't know. But Pooch starts off with Daniel. Later, he talks to Kyle and Joseph and Monty. And of course, they all deny giving that information out. Now, as I said, Daniel has told Nicole. He's actually told multiple women about this. I think he told Amira or Jasmine at one point. Daniel's told a few people about the Guys Alliance. Monty told Amira about the Guys Alliance as well. So there's a few different people. And we already know Terrence heard about it, just overheard. So it's not as much of a secret as Pooch thought it was, but he's worried about it. Pooch has decided eventually that the most likely suspect of who probably spilled the beans and told the girls is Joseph, which is wrong. Joseph has been fighting harder than anyone to try to keep Pooch alive, but Pooch has settled on Joseph as the most likely person who's betrayed him. Pooch continues his investigation all night long, asking people over and over, who told you that? Where'd the name? Who gave you that name? And just Perry Mason in action at this point with Pooch trying to get information. And no one wants to really talk to him. Everyone's just like, because most people know he's going home. They're already lying to him. They don't want to have any more conversation than they have to, but he goes all night long asking the questions. All right. Midnight or so, Big Brother time, or so, exactly at midnight. They have a countdown. The have-nots have ended. Terrence, Nicole, Daniel, and Pooch finally get to eat. I think Terrence is as excited about a hot shower as he is about the food. I don't blame him. But they all chow down, have some food, enjoy every bit. Everyone's there to cheer him on. I was happy to see that. All right, a few more real quick conversations. Conversation between Alyssa and Kyle. There's some game talk. They're talking about how they fear an HOH. Kyle's been playing both sides, and he's still telling Alyssa, saying, I'm a little worried about Taylor HOH. I think she could potentially put me up. She said she wanted to go for a big target. Could be me. So maybe I'd still prefer to have Pooch around than Taylor. So he's still soft selling to Alyssa, but not too hard, because I think they both know. I think that Pooch is going home. But that little talk about that, they're talking about Brittany crying and how she felt so left out and everything. So a little bit of game conversation, but mainly the key takeaway, I think, from this conversation is that they just seem to be getting closer to each other from a gameplay standpoint, but also from a social standpoint. And there has been a little talk about showmances, and Kyle's trying to avoid that. And Kyle mentions at one point in time, says, I love hanging out, but every time I do, people start using the word showmance. And, so Kyle doesn't want to be labeled as part of a showmance. But they do seem to be enjoying each other's company. Now, we did have a little bit of a conversation between the two of them. Alyssa tells Kyle about this old school alliance that just formed a few hours ago, and already the cat's out of the bag. So she's telling Kyle about the old school alliance that formed. And Kyle, as they continue to talk, Kyle's wondering which alliance will Amira and Nicole be most loyal to. I agree. They got a lot of them out there. They got more alliances than they've got people in the house, I think, at this point in time. So Kyle, rightfully so, is just curious where some of the loyalties are lying with a few of these people. And I don't know either. Right now, I think it's just a situation for a whole lot of these people of, let me join as many alliances as I can. That way, no matter who's in power as HOH, hopefully I'm protected. If someone gets on a roll, if one alliance has a few wins, one after the other, and picks off a few of the people, whoever, survival of the fittest, whoever ends up at the end strongest, well, now I'll be part of that alliance. That's where my loyalty lies. But I truly think a lot of these people really don't know where their loyalty lies. They're just waiting to see what the outcomes are. So Kyle's a little bit curious about that. All right, we've got more Pooch throughout the evening. He ends up in the bathroom with most of the guys, the kind of the Oasis guys, talking about it, upset. And people are saying, I think Joseph's saying, look, dude, go do something. You need to do something. And I think Kyle, a few others saying, you need to chill out. That's what you need to do. they're at a little bit of a loss at this point in time. I think they all realize that that Pooch probably is gone, and they're seeing the writing on the wall that the rest of them may be in jeopardy as well. Monty pushed harder than anyone else to try to save Pooch. He's finally realized, I think, early evening last night that it's just not going to work. He's now talking about also voting with the House, sending Pooch out the door. I don't know from Monty's standpoint if it's so much, because Monty started talking about Pooch, saying, guy's kind of an idiot, a goofball and all that. I don't know that from Monty's standpoint it's ever as much about saving Pooch personally as just trying to keep the number of guys in the House strong. And neither one of those is going to happen this week, unless something completely amazing happens over this evening. I don't think it will be. So there you go. Finally, Daniel and Nicole get to sleep in the HOH bed. Jasmine got everything packed up with some help from a few other folks, but she decided to go ahead and stay downstairs. Nicole and Daniel were both have-nots, so she's letting them sleep in the HOH bed tonight, which is kind of nice. Nicole said, hey, if Pooch comes in here as well to share this bed with us, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. But it didn't happen, just the two of them in the HOH room. So it's kind of a nice gesture. Finally, lights out around 4 o'clock in the morning, Big Brother time, plus or minus. And there you have it, guys. A lot of conversation for an eviction that we think is pretty much settled. But we'll see we won't see what happens. We'll find out what happens later. Again, no show tonight, but the live feeds will be back later. And we're going to find out what this besties twist is as well. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully talk whatever kind of feeds we get. I'll give you an update on what's going on, what we know as of tomorrow morning. Until then, guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.